one of the famous issues that usually happens in families when distributing the wealth. A lot of the men are unfair and display a lot of injustice, especially in Arabia. Women cannot inherit. The property is only for the family. My name. Women will get married to someone else from another tribe, from another country, and he will not have a share in my house, in my property, in my land. So a lot happens of injustice with women, and this is haram. You cannot play around with inheritance of property just because you don't want other tribes, other families to share your property. When you die, it's not your property anymore. It belongs to the family. How to distribute? It is mentioned in Surah An-Nisa. The ayah is very simple. And the science of al-fara'id or al-mawarith is one of the first to be lost. The first science to be lost among the ummah is this science, because rarely you will find people working in it. And it needs practice. Rarely you will find people asking you questions, and it's very mathematical, very simple. So if a person dies, leaves only children, no parents, no spouse, he leaves only children. This is very easy. The children inherit everything. The division is 2 shares for the male and 1 share for the female. End of story. Very simple. He left a boy and a girl. 2/3 for the boy, 1/3 for the girl. Alhamdulillah. Okay, what if he has a spouse? If he has a spouse, then the spouse gets 1 of 2. Either she gets a quarter if he doesn't have any children, or she gets 1/8 if the deceased has children, not from her, from anyone else. So a man dies leaving a wife and a boy and a girl. The wife gets how much? 1/8. And the rest is divided by 3 shares. 2 for the boy, 1 for the girl. Khalas, end of story. So when we come to the issue of, no, the deceased had parents. Oh, no problem. So he had parents, and he had a wife, and he had a boy and had a girl. No problem. The wife gets 1/8. The father and the mother get 1/6, 1/6. And the rest is distributed between 3 shares, 2 for the boy, 1 for the girl. This is an easygoing way. What about if he did not have a boy? He had only 1 girl. Okay, no problem. The Quran says, if someone dies leaving 1 girl, she gets half. Whoa, the girl gets half? Yes. Okay, if he did not have 1 girl, he had 1 boy. The boy gets everything. Everything. If he did not have a father, a mother, and a spouse. But if he had a father and a mother and a spouse, we give them their percentage. 1/6, 1/6, 1/8, and the rest goes to the son. So in inheritance, there are 2 ways of inheriting. Either by fard or by asaba. How do you translate this? How do you translate this? Fard is a percentage. And we have 6 percentages. Half and half of it. 1/3 and half of it. 1/4 and half of it. These are the 6 percentages. Half, who inherits with the half? The daughter. And? No, not the wife. The other one. The husband. When the wife dies, leaving no children, the husband gets half. If she had children and she died, the husband gets 1/4. So half is inherited by these 2. Either 1 daughter or a husband whose wife did not have any children. Half of it is what? A 1/4. Who inherits by a 1/4? The wife when? When the husband does not have any children. And the husband, when the wife has children. If she did not have children, he would have half. Then we have, these are two, huh? Half and half of it. Then we go to the number 3, which is 1/3. Who gets 1/3? The parents, the mother, when the deceased has no children and one sibling only, one brother or one sister, she gets 1/3. If he has more than one siblings, automatically she gets 1/6, which is half of the third. The father gets 1/3 if he has no children, and the rest. But this is his fard. Who gets 1/6? The parents, the mother, if he has more than one sibling, and the father if he has children. Because the father gets, like the mother, only 1/6. Anyone, anything else? 1/6? في كمان? 6. Yeah, these are the two. Okay. Now, the 5th percentage is what? No, 1/4, 1/4, and half of it. So 1/4, who gets 1/4? The wife, if the deceased husband does not have any children, and the husband, if the deceased wife had children. Who else? Nothing. Half of it is 1/8. Who gets 1/8? The wife, if, no, not she. He, if the husband, the deceased husband, had children, then she gets only 1/8. Noteworthy. Do you know what is the co-wife called in Arabic? The co-wife. If a man has 2 wives, what is the second wife called? In Arabic, it's called darra. Darra. What does darra means? From harm. Why is she called darra? Because if a man has 2 wives, each one of them gets half of 1/8. So both share 1/8. But if she was alone, she would get 1/8 for herself. She has a darra. She's harming her even after his death. So she's sharing 1/8. If they were 4, they would share 1/8. So imagine the percentage. This is why it's called in Arabic darra, because in his life and after his death, she does this to him. These are the 6 percentages allocated in the Quran. Okay, what did we say? One. I think we missed one, huh? Half and quarter. Yeah, we mixed it. Half and quarter, 2/3 and 1/3. There are 2/3. I did not mention a quarter. I mentioned it twice. Yeah, this is wrong. Half and a quarter, 2/3 and 1/3, and quarter and 1/8. 2/3 are given to who? No, son. Huh? If there left more than 2 or more daughters. If a deceased dies and he has 1 daughter, she gets what? Half. If he dies and he has 2 daughters or more, they get 2/3 of what he has left. 2/3. They participate, they take this much. This is called fard. Now, others of the heirs have what is known as ta'asib or asaba. They inherit the remaining. And who are these? The sons, the daughters, the father, the siblings, if he has no children and no father, the uncles, anyone who's related to him by name. So the wife and the husband, they inherit by percentage, by al-fard. The mother inherits by fard, either 1/6 or 1/3. The daughters, if there are no sons, they inherit by fard, half or 2/3. But if there is a son, no, their percentage is gone. They go by asaba, and so on. So in a nutshell, this science is very nice and beautiful and easy, a little bit complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes very easy for you to understand, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.